So we are here. We are going a little bit earlier than scheduled, but that's okay because we have been trying to plan this interview for a while now. So basically, yeah. I hope everyone's day is going great. Everything like that. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, like the stream. And today I have with me Christina,
Hi,
who,
hello.
yeah, obviously that's her first name, but there's a lot to her. So it's not just her name. So why don't I, obviously as is the case with everyone, why don't I let you introduce yourself and talk about you for a little bit? So
All right, thank you very much. I just want to say thank you so much for having me. It's honestly an honor. This is my first interview ever, so I'm super excited. Thank you again for having me. I am Christina, aka Christina Sensei. That is my cosplay name, aka Saint. I'm a musician. I play the flute, the saxophone. I sing in a band. um, aka just Christina. CSL Beauty. I do makeup on my YouTube channel. I do pretty much everything. So that is basically who I am. You're muted, just to let you know.
you just guys can basically just read my lips for the rest of the interview. No, I'm just kidding. So no, but yeah, thank you. Sorry, that happens. But yeah, no, thank you. I think as I was saying, thank you for that brief introduction of yourself, and we will jump right into this. So let's get to the first question. So
All right.
what? So okay. So obviously you have your own YouTube channel, which is CSL Beauty, and it's I have gone over it. I've visited it several times over, and I feel like I feel like your YouTube channel is very good. It has a very solid foundation because you're not just covering one topic only. You know what I mean? I feel like obviously probably the majority of your audience are girls or women, right? And so you have a
Mhm.
lot. You go over very sort of broad, also very specific topics that definitely pertain specifically to them. Um, and so one of those things is beauty and makeup and style and all that. So I
Yeah.
just had a quick question for you. What are your makeup tips as far as like for like anyone trying to get ready for like a date? Like what do you suggest?
So, makeup tips for a date. If you're going on a first date ever, meeting a guy first time ever, maybe you were on a dating site and you're actually like connecting and you want to meet, my recommendations is to just go light. Don't put too much makeup on. So there's this, I guess, this rule that guys have is like on the first date, bring her swimming so she doesn't like cover her face and hide her identity. So, I mean, I understand what guys are saying, but makeup is just to focus on enhancing your beauty, not hiding who you really are. I mean, I understand women get acne, we have scars, we have some things we want to cover up, but still go light, go as you, and go proud. You know what I mean? So I even did an example of like the makeup I'm wearing now. I have a little bit of foundation, powder, some highlighter here, blush, red lipstick, mascara. I did my eyebrows. That's it. This is how I would go on a date, as least makeup as possible. Now, what you don't want to do, and I actually have a picture, what you don't want to do with your makeup is look like a hot mess. Like, don't overdo it. If you can see, if it focuses, too much eyeliner, too much mascara, just too much going on. She looks like a fake Barbie doll. You don't want to go with too much makeup. Now, something, just less is more. Here it is. This is why you take them swimming, trying to imply that, her makeup is just hiding who she really is. And we don't want to give off that impression. We just want to go natural. See, a very natural look she has right here. Very natural. Not too much with the red lips. Red is always sexy, right? Very natural. You don't want to just overdo it, you know? Just go with the natural. You want to add a little more makeup next date? If it goes well, go for it. But the first date, Less is more.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I just because I've always wondered, like, I've been on so many first dates and stuff, and like for me, sometimes, sometimes my date would show up, wearing a lot of makeup. Sometimes they wouldn't.
Mm,
And
yeah.
then, there's sometimes, like, and like other occasions where, I went out, during like the nighttime or whatever, to like the city in LA. So that's where
Hmm.
I'm at. You know what I mean? I guess, yeah, it also kind of, I guess, depends on like where we were going to. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, but yeah, I definitely feel that your advice is very sound, and it's very important for a lot of women to understand, because sometimes, yeah, like you said, less is more. And you know what I mean, you kind of just want to don't want to, like, kind of like how you said, like, hide who you are, like you want to show who you are, have a
Right.
great kind of down to earth, realistic look, which is great.
Hmm.
I think it's great advice. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. And you just got to be proud about who you are, you know? Don't hide
Mhm.
it.
Absolutely. And so we will sort of circle back to that topic in a bit. But my next question, sorry, my next question is specifically, what is your definition of a good man? And I
Ooh.
asked that, and the reason I asked that is because on your channel, you do talk about sort of like, like attracting, the right guy, or attracting a good man. You know what I mean? And so I was just wondering, like, what is in your definition, is a good man, and how does someone, how does, like, say, like, any woman watching this or whatever, you know what I mean? How do they get a good man, basically?
Well, I understand that everybody has their own definition of a good man, woman, dog, cat. I understand that. But, I will just give my opinion and advice on what a good man, how to find a good man, and just some important things to look out for. So, one huge thing you want to look out for is someone, a man, a good man, who's going to accept you for you. Nobody is perfect. You're going to come with flaws, with some problems. You're not going to come perfect. Maybe you're not in your career field yet. Maybe you're not living on your own yet. Someone who's going to be understanding to the position and the place you are in life. That is very important. So, a good man is going to accept you for you and where you are and what's going on in your life. Maybe you're not in shape like you want to be. They're still going to like you anyway, or maybe you're too skinny, or your hair is not super long, or whatever the case may be. If the person is not interested in accepting you for who you are, that means they're having a problem accepting who they are within themselves. Okay. And that's a red flag. You don't want to deal with that. So that is very important. And please look out for that. Another thing, career, like I brought up before. We live in a world where we can change our career whenever we feel like it. Seriously. So if you meet somebody and they're not in their career field as of yet, or they're transitioning into another career, that is okay. As someone who's interested in a good man, this is where you can show support. You know, this is where you would give support and just be that team player, if you're interested in being a girlfriend in his life long term. So that is also okay. But make sure they're, in a career field, or maybe at least have a job, right? While they transition. That's always healthy, because when you're working and making income, it's just a good place to be in. So you want to look out for that, but be understanding, because sometimes we're just not there yet, but we're working on it. If they're working on it, that's okay too. Another thing to look out for is make sure you have some things in common. I know it's like common sense, but try to have some things in common. For example, like I like K-pop and anime, and I cosplay. Oh, I forgot to say that in the beginning. I'm I'm a cosplayer. I like music. I like, just meditating and working out. I like a lot of different things. Try to find someone who's into the same things that you're into. It's okay to have different hobbies as well, because you can learn that hobby from them. Maybe they're into art and they're a great painter. You can, have painting with a twist at home together during this time, and, just learn how to paint together. But it's important to also have things in common. Communication. Listen, this is so important. Please listen to me when I say this. Communication is key. If you cannot just sit down like two adults and have a conversation, not with your ego, but listening to understand, not listening just to listen. Okay? It won't work. You have to communicate your problems, your worries, your feelings, when you had fun, just, your wants, your needs. Communication. If you're at this date and the person on the other end, the good guy, is trying to have a conversation with you and he can hold a conversation very well, that's a great thing. Okay, you got to communicate, you got to talk. And this is also a great time to kind of talk about yourself, and kind of just let that good man know where you are in life. If you're working on a career, oh, I'm transitioning my career, I'm working on a small business, I'm X, Y, and Z. Communication is key. um you don't want to go into a date and then all of a sudden, there's awkward silence. If there's awkward silence, the connection may be not as strong. So communication is key. And last but not least, someone who is just ready, kind of just ready to date, go in there and get to know you. Someone who's like emotionally available and mentally available. And you can kind of see those signs through the date and the communication and how they present themselves. Please shower before you get there. How they dress and how they just come with their positive energy. Someone who just comes ready. That's how you can spot and find a good man who's ready for a date and kind of just ready to just give their all to someone.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, that's a great answer. Because I know a lot of women, you know what I mean, like they, whether young or older or whatever, like they're single, you might think that okay, I'm ready to go out there and put myself out there and try to find somebody or find love or whatever. Um, so I think you dropped some pretty good truth bombs in terms of what I mean, like not necessarily just accepting anybody, but just looking out for certain things, and you yourself
Hmm.
also being ready enough, what I mean, to basically, either know what you want or just be ready to date. So I think it's really important.
Hmm.
Um,
Thank you so much.
yeah. So okay, let's see. So my next question was why is less is more important, but we kind of already touched upon that. Um, so I guess So I'll just go back to the question before. So I know we literally just discussed like what are your metrics or whatever for like a good man, but and like I said before, I know that most of your audience is female. But like if you were to talk to like a guy, right? Well, I mean obviously right now, literally you are. We're talking one on one, but like in general, if you were trying to make a video or whatever, right? And you're trying to appeal to basically like anyone in the opposite sex, and telling them what I mean, these are the things that you have to look for when it comes to a good woman. Um, like yeah, what would you how would you categorize that, or what would you say? Would you say like a lot of the same things in terms of like women looking for men, or would it be different, or yeah, what would you say?
So basically, what I would say, some things that I said for looking for a good man, but some different things. So, for example, of course, a woman who is emotionally and mentally ready, that's still important on both sides. A woman who is not going to come to you with games. You know what I mean? Don't come with the games, come making sure you're ready for a relationship. Women tend to be 1 minute they're full into it, they're ready, they're into it. Next minute, oh, well, I had to change of heart because blah, 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 for whatever reason. And that could also go to just not being accepting to certain things he may have going on in his life. So just make sure you're not going to come with any type of games. Don't have like a list of guys that you want to choose from. Just come as serious and as ready as you can, ladies. No options. Ladies, men do it too. Ladies, sometimes guys likes to have options. Having too many options clutters your mind. You kind of want to just focus on one person that really catches your interest. And when you focus on that one person at a time, I'm all for it. You can just really get to know them and accept them for who they are. So it helps you not be indecisive. It helps the woman not be indecisive. So that's a key to look for, gentlemen. A woman who doesn't have a bunch of options or guys lingering around. Same thing with the career. If she's changing her career, that's fine. If she's in her career field, that is also fine. Another important thing. No drama. If this woman has a bunch of drama in her life, like from her family to her friends to her Facebook to her Instagram to her, she's just in a drama filled position. You don't want that negative energy around you. You want a woman who is just calm, cool, and collect and just not into the drama. Okay. We don't want the drama. We want an understanding woman who can communicate effectively without easily getting upset because we want to listen to understand, right, ladies? We don't want to just listen to listen. So it's kind of like the same things as the guys, but a little different. We don't want the drama. We want a peaceful woman. You know what I mean? So, an understanding woman and communication's still key. A woman who's just is ready, she's going to go to you and just look you in the eyes and be like, listen, I'm looking for a long-term partner. I want children. I want to settle down one day. I understand things in life aren't always going to go well, but if we hit a roadblock, we're going to hit it together. Mindset. A woman who has that mindset, like a ride or die mindset. I think it's goes both ways. Women tend to just like leave a situation that's just not going well, and that's unrealistic because we live in a life where things aren't always going to be perfect. You can lose your job in a drop of a dime. You can lose your home in a drop of a dime. You can lose a lot of things in a drop of a dime. And you have to be ready to stick it out when times get hard. You know what I mean? And of course, for men as well. So, gentlemen, look out for that. You don't want to pick a woman who's not going to stick by your side during hard times, right? So, that's what I have for the gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, that's really interesting. I think it's good stuff. I think a lot of what you said needs to be said. Because like I said,
Absolutely.
men and women have different, standards of each other that might change as they get older or go through more
Hmm.
experiences and stuff. But I feel like
Hmm.
what you said sort of covers the basics, and I honestly feel like what you said is not really said enough.
Hmm.
I feel like when it comes to because I don't personally know a lot of people like this, but I've heard of a lot of people doing this, like people making lists or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this guy needs to be this and this, and this guy needs to have this and this. You know what I mean? Or this girl needs to have this and this, would be this and this, all that stuff. And it's just like like a lot of these expectations and standards, I feel like are very unrealistic.
Yes.
Especially yeah,
Yes.
especially the time that we're going through right now in the quote unquote Bud Light. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people have been stripped of their sense of security and stability in the world, and
Right.
it's not necessarily like to any fault of their own.
Hmm.
That's just unfortunately just how it is right
Life
now.
happens. Life happens, and some things are not in your control.
Hmm.
You
Yeah, yeah,
know. So
yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree.
And but even before the whole pandemic hit, dating was not easy. You know what I mean? It's just but
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, like I said, I'm human, so I fuck up sometimes and I make mistakes sometimes. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I think when it comes down to it, I really hone in when I feel like, okay, for me personally, when I'm personally ready to date. You know what I mean? And to risk it, risk the things that you risk when you
Mhm.
put yourself out there. I
Mhm.
have a certain set of standards. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you know what I mean. I can honestly say that going out in my 30s is totally different than going out in my 20s, or even when
Absolutely.
I was in college or high school, whatever, as a teenager. So,
Mhm.
um, so I think it's, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's fine. So, what would your I just had a question for you. So, because it's kind of funny because I've actually had several dating experts on this channel, but I've never really asked them this question. So, I'll ask you this. So, what would you say is like personality wise? Would you say there are any sort of specific things to look out for when it comes to, what I mean, like specifically for like men, right? For guys, when, I mean, from the perspective of a guy, and, what I mean, let's say they're looking for something stable, right? Something like basically they're looking for a serious relationship, right?
Mhm.
And and so, but when it comes to guys, like, what are the things you kind of touched upon this a little bit? But what are the things that, like, are there any personality traits differences between women who are just kind of looking to date casually versus women who are more willing to, what I mean, commit or looking for something more serious, like
Mhm.
a committed relationship? Do you think there are any sort of differences between women, who are looking for, either of those?
Well, so a woman who is just casually interested in dating, now that can mean numerous of things. That could mean she probably just got out of a serious relationship, or maybe she went through a divorce, or she was in a toxic relationship and she needs a break. It could mean that. It could also mean that she just wants to play the field and she's not ready for a serious relationship because maybe hypothetically speaking she's not in her career field, or she is just work driven and work comes first, or she maybe doesn't feel that she's going to find the right one right away. So she just wants to have fun. Maybe she doesn't want to have children right now, and she's meeting a bunch of men who want to have children. It can be for numerous of reasons. At the end of the day, this is why communication is important. Like, we don't know what anyone's really going through until we ask. Why are you just dating casually? What's going on? Oh, I just want to have fun. Or I'm going through a divorce. Or I'm battling this horrible case at work. If they're a lawyer, it could be anything for any reason. So maybe they're just in a different place in their life. Timing could be wrong, timing could be right. So for a woman who is in a place where she wants something serious, maybe she's done a lot of soul searching. Maybe she did a lot of self care, a lot of self love. Not saying the person who's casually dating didn't, but maybe she really just said, you know what? I am getting older. I'm ready to find my forever and start my life with my forever. I've been there. I've dated casually. I've seen the world. I'm ready to settle down. Maybe they're in their career field and they're successful. Maybe they're tired of meeting casual situations and they want one serious person. It just depends on where they are in life. You know what I mean?
Um,
Like if you, oh, go ahead.
oh no, I'm sorry, no, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was going to say that if you go on a lot of the AMBW sites, there's a lot of Black women that are just looking for their one and they're like ready, and I think there's more of that. I see more of that versus like maybe a younger woman who is just casually dating or just wants to meet people or make friends. I've seen a lot of women in their 30s, 40s who are kind of ready to meet somebody special. You know what I mean? It could be an age range too. There's a lot of young women on there, who just want to have some fun, there's even women who are married. There was one woman that was married, said she's married, looking for another woman. Whatever floats your boat, that's fine, no judgment. It's the timing and where women are in their life. And in order to find that out, gentlemen, you gotta ask the right questions. You can also look out for the signs, but ask. just ask, and hope that they don't lie. They're mature enough not to lie, right? I mean, I've heard a lot of honest women. They'll say, "Listen, this is exactly what I'm looking for," and that's it. I mean, you're just like, "There goes your answer."
So, do you think that age is plays a factor in how, whether or not, girl or, woman, sorry, women are, ready to settle down? Because in my experience, I've met a lot more women in their 30s and up that were, what I mean, willing to. I don't know. Willing is the correct word. Basically, looking for something stable, looking for something serious.
Yeah.
Versus like, girls in the 20s who were basically just, all about, like party time, and, they
Hmm.
don't, they just kind of want to see where things go. They were more casual. They kind of didn't really, respond well to words like, oh, commitment, serious, and all this stuff. So, like,
Right.
do you think that that plays a factor? Do you think that is a factor more often than not?
I think age does play a factor. I also think that experiences play a huge factor as well. So maybe this younger woman was brought up in a home where, she saw her mom going out a lot, hanging out with the friends and partying and just having a great time. And she's thinking to herself, oh, I can't wait to be 21 and just have a great time and hang out and go to college and just have so much fun. And maybe there can be another young lady who was raised in a household where, both parents were together, very family oriented, always doing things together. And she's like, wow, I want this for my future and my love life. And and vice versa. You can still be raised in that nice household where both parents are together and just living a nice life. And she's still a party girl because she still wants to live her life and have fun. So I think it's definitely experiences, what you've experienced at what age and age as well, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that also needs to be said that age is definitely a factor. Um, but why do you think, I've had this conversation with a lot of other women too, and they all sort of gave me the same answer. So what? Like, I know you're saying, what I mean, like, when you're together, whether you're a girl or a guy, whatever, like, when you're with that other person, like, it's important to ask the right questions and all that stuff. But how
Right.
do you feel about, what I mean, like, sort of the in this case specifically, like, the girl, what I mean, sort of being afraid to how the guy will react, what I mean, to certain things that
Oh,
she says. And I, like I said before, like, I've talked to, other girls about this, and they usually say that, yeah, like, sometimes it's necessary to, quote unquote, say, make him an excuse or kind of lie, what I mean, in order to avoid, confrontation, right? Or like emotional
really?
outbreak of confrontation, anything like that. So what's your take on that? I mean, do you, how, like I said, I know that, before you were talking a lot about, asking questions, but what about how, like giving the right answers and responding in, different situations, sometimes situations that might be a little bit unfavorable, like, for instance, like, if you're trying, if you're a girl and you're trying to, let the guy down and tell him, hey, it's just not going to work out. Like, how do
Hmm.
what's your take on that? Do you feel like, it is better to tell the truth, or sometimes it's more convenient to, say something else? You know what I mean?
Okay. So there's something that comes with communication, and it's called tact. Tactfully saying what you want to say without hurting anyone's feelings. It doesn't always work because sometimes people just become hurt depending on the answer, even if you're tactful. But I believe being honest and tactful will go a long way than lying and making up an excuse. So I don't think it's a good idea to lie and just make up a quick excuse to get out of a situation. I think it's better to just be as honest as you can be and as tactful as you can be. So for example, if a woman is not interested in a guy, she can just honestly, tactfully say that. Now at the end of the day, he will be hurt if he does have feelings for her, but he'll be more hurt if you lie. So which hurt you want to give off? The lie, which is worse, or the truth tactfully? Be tactful. Just say, listen, I don't think we're connecting very well on a relationship level, I think it is better that we part ways or just become friends because I'm not feeling that we are compatible. The end. Don't make up a lie and say, listen, I have a lot going on. My grandmother just passed away and I'm just mourning and I need to be there for my family. Do not lie, ladies and men. Don't lie. I do understand a lot, maybe a lot of women feel, okay, I need to get out of this quick and I don't want to hurt them. Lying is going to hurt more than just truthfully, tactfully saying it. Another thing that women tend to do sometimes, even men, ghosting. Can you please don't just disappear? Can you please just tell the person, hey, listen, it's not working out? Don't just disappear, block them, do all this stuff. I mean, unless you really necessarily have to because they're being perverted and like sending dick pics or some weird crap like that, don't just ghost them. This all goes back to communication now. Honest, effective, tactful communication.
Yeah, that's great. It's actually really refreshing to hear you say that because, like I said, the majority of other women that I talk to are like, well, like I just, like usually when I like, I have to reject a guy or whatever, usually just don't. Basically, like you said, don't do. I just they basically flat out lie. You know what I mean, or say something else, and it's like, I can't tell you how many times. I mean, it's not, I'm not like an incel or anything like that, but like I've had my fair share of getting rejected before, and I have experienced what felt like a lie, basically. You know what I mean, and then later on it turned out to that she was lying, but. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, that's kind of why I say, dating is very, very difficult because it's kind of like playing like the you know romantic lottery basically. You know what I mean,
Very true.
sort of it's sort of an uphill battle, and so but sometimes things do work out, but it's just like you said. I think it goes back to what you said. You have to know when you're ready. You know what I mean. So does the other person. And I think if you're both on that same page, then it does increase your chances of what I mean getting further with that person and possibly even what I mean things getting serious. So yeah, I definitely do feel like filtering out. I mean, kind of like how you suggested. Filtering out. What you're looking for and what you're not looking for does help. And it's actually something I've said too, is because I wrote a book about it a long time ago. But it's basically just just make sure that you guys are on the same page. Really, because like you said before, like communication is really everything. You know what I mean? Like if you're not upfront about some things, or if you don't really know what you want, then you probably shouldn't be there. You probably shouldn't be literally dating or talking to someone because you're probably end up wasting their time. Maybe not wasting your own time, but
Hmm.
someone else's time. You have to consider that
Exactly.
too.
Hmm.
Okay, so we have a couple more questions. So for you, another video, and I do want to pull up your channel in just a bit here, but one of
Okay.
them, I believe, is on how to catch a catfish, right? And for those of you who don't know what catfishing is, why don't you describe what that is? And then also, my second question would be, do you have any really, interesting or quote unquote engaging catfish stories?
All right. So, what is a catfish? A catfish is when someone goes on a dating website and creates a completely fake profile from the age to the location to the picture. Everything about them is fake. And they go and they seek women, single women on these dating profiles, and they pretend to be that person. That is a catfish. Now, have I been catfished before? Absolutely. More than once. But because of experience, I have learned how to catch them before it goes any further. And I don't have to waste my time. So let me help you to not waste your time. Um, so I remember being on what website was it? I mean, they're everywhere. They're on Bumble, Tinder, everywhere. On Bumble, I met this guy, and uh, an indicator that it was a fake profile was, and I don't know why people do this. They like to use like stars, like actors. Like that is so typical. Like I know it's not you. What are you doing? Stop. Like that's a huge red flag, and you know it's not even them. Another indicator is I hearted somebody. I think you can heart someone in Bumble and they heart back and you match. And the person's English, because they said they lived in New York, and they were born in New York. So, but their English when we were messaging each other was horrible. Like the spelling, the grammar, you name it. That's another indicator. So he would say like, "How you do today?" What? Oh, what did you just type me? What did you just curse at me? Like it doesn't make sense what he's messaging you. Where are you from? Like everything is short and it's spelled wrong. That's another huge indicator. The biggest huge indicator is when they don't want to video chat. Now, I've heard some lies and lame excuses of I can't video chat because I'm stationed in Afghanistan and they don't allow me to video chat while I'm working or during deployment. That's a lie because if you have children or a family, then how do you video chat them and see them? That's a lie. Do not lie to me. Now, here I give you permission to block and ghost him because he's a catfish. So you have to look out for those signs because it's very sad. Everyone's making a fake profile. And when people make these fake profiles, that means they're just dealing with something personally. Maybe they don't like how they look or how their body looks or their living situation or something about themselves they dislike so much that they have to go and pretend to be somebody else. And you don't want to come across somebody who would do that and just lie to you straight off bat. That's not the way you want to start any type of even a friendship, honestly. So catfishing can be very dangerous. Catfishes have gotten money from innocent, sweet people by being fake and just pretending super hard to be them and saying I need help. Like it can turn into a very dangerous situation. So those have been my experiences with catfish.
Okay. Um, no, that's interesting. So also on that note, can you tell us like everyone watching, what are some of your best dating experiences, and then on the opposite side of that, what are some of your worst dating experiences, and what did you get from both of them?
All right, so some best dating experiences. I had one dating experience where it was a virtual dating experience due to Bud Light. And even though it was virtual, it was still a great, nice time. We put on some music, we FaceTimed on our phones. We put on some music. We picked a journal prompt because we both had journals. I think it was what is your needs versus what is your wants in life. And we set a timer for 20 minutes and we were both listening to music and just writing in our journals. And then once the timer was up, we shared our journal entries. And I think that's a fun virtual date to have because you're still getting to know each other. You're getting personal because you're talking about what you need versus what you want. And you're still connecting. You still see the person's real, they're in front of you, they're connecting with you. And I really had a fun time doing it. It's just the simple awesome things like that that can just make a date go very far. You don't need the food, you don't need the wine, you just need a connection, a chemistry, communication, a fun activity. So that was one fun date. What's another fun date I had? Ah, that is such a hard question. Let me see if I can think of another one and just go to the bad ones. Let's go to a bad date. A bad date that I had. Oh, so I went to this bad date at a Japanese restaurant called Heroes with this guy who was from a different country. I think he was from, I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I think he was from India. And we were just having conversation, getting to know each other. And he was like, "How would you feel if a woman was sitting on a bench with a skirt on?" I feel that if you're wearing a short skirt, I, as a man, have the right to take a picture of you in that skirt if I want to. And I'm like, no, you don't have that right. Just because a woman wants to wear a short, skimpy skirt doesn't mean you have the right as a guy to pick up your phone and start taking pictures of her skirt, trying to get shots of her hoo ha. Like, no, that's still not appropriate. It is her body. She can clothe it how she sees fit. Does everyone agree with what she's wearing? No, but it's also not your business or your right to take snapshots of her trying to get pictures of inappropriate body parts. So that conversation right there explained his mindset to me. And I was like, yeah, get me the food so I can get out of here right now. But yeah, that date didn't go well at all. That was one of my bad dates due to the conversations and just how different we are on respect on women. Because, um, some men in different countries have different beliefs, and different way of thinking when it comes to women. And just, it's important to be on the same page. Another bad date I went on was, funny thing is, it was the same exact restaurant, Heroes, the Japanese restaurant. Different guy. I think he was Chinese. But the date was okay. It was going well, until he kind of told me, he very honest, very very honest and straightforward. And I appreciate a man who's honest and straightforward. But he was just looking for like a side girlfriend. He had his main woman, like a polyamorous relationship type of deal. He was looking for a side woman, another woman to have as his girlfriend, just more so for intimacy, not really to connect or to have anything serious with. And I was like, well, I'm looking for something different. I'm looking to be in a relationship, a committed relationship where we can grow into something more, not just something intimate. So, very honest guy, and this is where I'm honest as well with communication, but we did not want the same things. And it did bring on that, like, the awkward silence during dinner while we eat our sushi and whatnot. But that was also another, like, bad date that I had. Let me see if I can find one more good date. There has to be one good date. I had one pretty surprise, maybe, yeah, a surprise, like, birthday date dinner where I was flown to New York to go to a really nice restaurant and was surprised with family and friends when it was supposed to just be like us two in a relationship. That was super amazing to be like surprised and wake up, we're going to the airport. What? Where are we going? Like, listen, people don't love like that anymore. People don't do things like that anymore. And we need to get back to that when it comes to dates. Let's just go on a plane. I mean, once Bud Light calms down. Um, let's go on a plane. Let's go out of town. Let's just go, to a different city. Let's rent a hotel room, fun stuff like that. But those are my dating experiences.
Sorry, yeah, kind of. Yes, I have myself on mute. Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, thank you. I think actually that's I'm gonna end the interview here.
Okay.
But I appreciate you for taking the time, your schedule to talk with us. And
Anytime.
again, the interview will be posted right away. So yeah, you'll see it. So anyway, yeah, thank you very much,
Thank you
everyone.
so much for having me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So we will talk soon.